and gentlemen, we are live!
So, good evening, everybody, on this Thursday night. Yes, the weather's improved for the next couple of days. It's all going to be good as we look forward to the game on Saturday against Blackburn Rovers. But also, not forgetting that last night, we also played Burnley away and didn't get the result, obviously, we wanted. But anyway, so welcome to the Block 9 podcast. I am Mike the Crazy Pilgrim. In the lobby today, you'll see fellow host, the Grumpy Loyal Andy. You'll see Connor, who's also now calling himself Susan Boyle. That's just private jokes, not me involved. And also Marcus. You can see on my graphic here, we've got all the teams' logos and also this one, more importantly, Wild Rover Lewis. We'll come on to a bit more about him later, but he is cycling for a cause. Smiley Riley, a great friend of his who succumbed to cancer. Sadly, he's now cycling to every away game and back. And I repeat, every away game and back from where he lives in Blackburn. The aim to raise 25,000 for a new cancer lodge for patients to be able to go and rest and recover in. Fantastic cause. When I saw that, I thought, let's get him onto the show. For what audience we have, if we can, we will, give that some attention and put it out there. He is probably about sort of half an hour or so heading to Bridgewater, where he is staying overnight. But he is going to join us later, all being well, which will be fantastic to get him on, for him to share with us and tell us more about what he is doing. So, everybody, thank you for coming in, all those that are joining us so far tonight. So, let's crack on with the show. So just we're going to split this into post-match Burnley to start with, and then we'll start talking about the Blackburn preview. And we should have Kate, who's a Rovers fan, as well as, Lewis in the picture. You can see there that will hopefully come on and give us some thoughts. But if you are other fans in the house, please do let us know. And if you want to come in and give your view, then happily do that. We are the Block 9 podcast, so we present shows about Plymouth Argyle. We call it a podcast, but we are generally here with you now, live streaming on TikTok. We have other places where we put this content as well once it's done, and you can see that in my profile. So look at the link in my profile, and that will tell you where we are. We don't mention them on here because it affects the engagement. Everybody wants to lock them and you down into their platforms, which is fair enough. And also Andy does a championship chat as well, once or twice a week. So Andy, just want to give a little plug to that for when you're next live?
Yeah, we did a live last night. It was fantastic. We had a good chat last night with a few fans coming in. Burnley fan came in, which is brilliant. Fine. We had Casey in from Blackburn. We had Connor in last night, Marcus. Really good stuff, good laugh, and it just went silly in the end. But generally, it's like championship chat, and we talk about all the games in the championship from the Tuesday night. We also covered the games on the Wednesday night. We weren't anticipating Stoke winning 6-1, so yeah, that was good. Good stuff, mate. And I will say that the Block 9 podcast is available on YouTube. I can say it, you see, you can't. I can see it. It's on YouTube. We're on X. We're on Facebook, and we've got a little bit on Instagram as well. But you can find us on all major podcasting services. So go and look us up, the Block 9 podcast, and please subscribe to us.
And we have, thank you, Andy, just got Katie Talks Rovers in the room now. So evening, Katie. How are we doing?
I'm very good. How are you all?
Yeah, good. Right, so we're going to get through quickly the Burnley preview because, it wasn't the result we wanted, so we don't want to dwell on that too much, and we want to look forward to the next game now because that's what it's about. So, look, guys, so, an interesting one. A bit disappointing. We went to that game, sort of looked at the lineup and thought, you expected that we would probably go a little bit defensive there. There were a couple of changes, notably with Mumba coming out, Edwards coming out, which was due to a knock in training, but possibly also to give his legs a bit of a rest, no doubt as well. And in came Ogbeta and Poulsen, who hadn't really seen any games since the abysmal Wednesday performance. So, sort of the game really was a bit of a struggle for Argyle in the first half. I think it was like the first 3 or 4 minutes, they started off actually quite well. But then as the game sort of progressed, it was a little bit more Burnley, but still no major threat. And then that JB incident that resulted in the penalty, I should say. which sort of really it ruined the game for Argyle, because I felt there was a chance there. Burnley, even after the goal, didn't really try and kill Argyle off. Koliocho, amazing player, didn't sort of give better an easy ride in the first half or the second, to be fair. But look, that penalty really changed the game. Argyle got into the game in the second half a bit more, and that was good to see. We probably dominated the possession in the second half. But it's probably fair to say that Burnley were probably managing the game, really. We haven't had the best of goal threats. That was clear again last night. No Tijani as well with a hamstring. No Forshaw hamstring. Tijani out until January. Forshaw should be back after the break. But there were some good spells of play. But it was, I would have to say, Burnley didn't look overly threatening. And I think their last game against Oxford, they had loads of chances that were off target. But we didn't come away with a point. They did. So, Andy, what was your summarising of that performance last night?
Mate, frustrating. 2 shots in the whole game, and none of them on target, which is a bit concerning. One of them was from Bundu, hit the side net, and it should have scored, as Dane has rightly said in the comments. And also Whittaker just blasting one, over the bar as well. I mean, we didn't create many chances, to be fair, and we didn't deserve to get anything from the game, I think. We played well in the second half, but the penalty was soft. Overall, we didn't deserve to get anything. That's my opinion. We didn't deserve anything from that game.
We didn't go in with the bite to try. I think we were playing for the draw, 0-0. If we could sneak away a goal, then great. And that penalty did change it, didn't it, Andy? To be fair,
I mean the 2 changes did it as well. We bought 2 players in, Better and Paulson, who really haven't played since Sheffield Wednesday, and they both sort of struggled a bit. I think. Yeah. So, yeah. Welcome in, Nathan.
So, Marcus, what's your thoughts, on that game last night?
The main surprise, really, for me was that Hatch, who scored 11 goals in 4 games for the under-18s, never even trained with the first team. I'm surprised about that. I mean, we definitely needed a goal. I would have put him on the last 15, 20 minutes. But everyone's saying replace Whittaker. But the thing is, I don't know who. Because I don't think Bundu can play in that position, and Saka's still injured.
Yeah, he is. And just sort of, I'm just trying to keep up with the comments. Evening, Dane, Ethan, Nathan, baby, and thank you for the gifts that you've been passing out there. Macca as well. Good evening, Lennon. Good evening. I think, there's a couple of points there. Hatch, I would agree with, certainly, and Whittaker will come on to as well a bit more in a minute. Obviously, there's a few comments coming in saying TJ isn't injured. All we can go by is what Rooney has said, which is that he's got a hamstring injury, which is ruling him out until the new year, unless there is other issues and circumstances going on that we don't know about. Then that is the facts that we can go on. Forshaw as well, with a slight twinge to a hamstring, but he should be back after the break. So that is. Unfortunately, bringing up the issues that we have with our depth of squad going on, that's always been our issue. So we have to just manage that where we can. But sort of picking up on your Hatch point, Marcus, you'd think it's great experience, isn't it? He's got into the first team, fairly sort of swiftly. He's been burying the goals in the youth side. But to only use him for the last sort of 5 minutes or so, it was a bit frustrating. When we did have, and I alluded to earlier, and Dane's pointed out in the second half, we did control it. I did feel Burnley's game management, though, was to just let us have the ball and defend it out, which in fairness to them, they did. We only had 2 shots, which was Whittaker's traditional outside of the box left foot, which just went over the bar, and Bundu, who off the back of a great move, who should have really hit the target. So they held us back. But I just would have liked to have seen Hatch. I don't even think I noticed him touch the ball, which was a shame. So I agree with you there, Marcus, because he is one that could be interesting, couldn't he?
But Hatch did make that brilliant run, but Hardy didn't see it right at the end.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think Hardy was sort of in that mindset of, I've got the ball in an area that, a striker's going to have the ball, and it's rare that a striker's going to give that opportunity up, isn't it? But he didn't maximise it.
Also, if he trains with the first team, players like Hardy's going to know the type of runs Hatch does.
Yeah.
Because another thing is playing games. If Saka could play with instead of Whittaker, Whittaker don't play well, Saka will know how Hats plays.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, good point. Connor, what's your thoughts on that? You know, what can you take out of that game that you felt? You know what, there was at least some positives there.
Well, we could have won 10-1. That's what I predicted. But that didn't happen. Morgan Whittaker should be bearing his shot. Bundu should be bearing his shot. It's just that final third.
Yeah.
We looked at against Sunderland. It was a lot better against them. Top higher teams, a lot better. But we come to this game, we just struggled in the final third again. I think the second half was absolutely wonderful. We played quite well second half, but it wasn't a penalty for me. It was just outside of the box.
Nah, I disagree with you. It was definitely a penalty. Watching it live in the replay, it's just a sloppy strike at the ball, and in that sort of area. And in fairness, where JB's been superb over the last few games, to sort of just go and do that was just like, that's criminal. And especially when we were frustrating them at the end of the day, and agree with Dane's comment just there. Like, we are a decent team and we'll come back. Come top of the bottom half. And totally agree. It was frustrating when you consider that we had that start that we had and we've turned it on and turned it round. Rooney and the players, it really is literally, Macy's taking the words out of my mouth, starting to click now. I'm not disappointed, but it is, sort of at 8 points, is it, from 8 games? So, but you could look at that and some will say, we told you he's rubbish, but we're seeing the improvements. There's one thing, Andy, that was very evening, Harvey, as Harvey has now joined us. Good evening, mate. Actually, I'll throw this one to you, Harvey, actually. Give us your initial thoughts on the game, but Sissoko, frustrating again that he pits on the performance that he did as a sub against Luton, scores 2 fantastic goals, and then starts against Burnley and just wasn't really in the game, was he? What does Rooney do with it? Does he leave him out on Saturday again to sort of say, sorry, you've got to make sure you're doing it from the get-go?
Yeah, well, I don't know what to really think of him. I see some people are saying about whether or not we will keep him to the end of the season. I found out on Tuesday that I don't know how true it is, but it was off like someone who's quite reliable said that if a player comes from a foreign country, so he's come from France, they have to stay for the whole duration of their loan. So that's sort of a good thing for Argyle fans to think of them. We definitely have got him for the season, but. Yeah, I thought it was very frustrating. I did think that Burnley set up very well, though, in the terms of they always had 2 players on either Sissoko or Whittaker, and that I think that comes from good organisation, from good, that's good skill play. That's players with high level skilled minds. But I was very proud of the team second half. I think Burnley's definitely going to be a team that's going to be up there come the end of the season, whether or not they go automatics or into the playoffs. And to only go up there in their backyard, for the season, 15 whether or not they go automatics or into the playoffs. And
Andy, we've got you feedbacking again. Sorry, I just muted you. Sorry, go on, Harvey.
Yeah, so to go up there in their own backyard, for them after time waste for the past 10, 15 minutes, to see the game out, I thought it was a big credit to Rooney and the players.
Yeah, exactly. That good positive sort of reaction to it, because we're not going to get sort of the results that we want, but we're not losing by several goals, and there are clubs that have gone to these grounds and played against these teams, and not forgetting these last 5 games, obviously with Blackburn on Saturday, which we'll come on to as well with Katie, and hopefully Wild Rover once he arrives in Bridgewater. We've had one of the toughest runs that you could have in that spell. So to come away with what we've got so far, none of us would have sort of expected 6 points. To beat Sunderland, to maybe get a result against Luton. They were bottom of the league initially off the back of 2 wins. So they were probably feeling, and they were feeling, as we had Dave on here, and that very confident, and we managed to beat them. And to walk away from that Burnley game, just Burnley didn't. I'm sorry, but they just didn't. Either they just decided to game manage it, or they just weren't as strong and good going forward as we all just feel that they should be. A lot of changes, I think, as well, Harvey, in that team over the. Let me just let Andy back in over the summer break and that as well, I believe. But you'd still expect more from them than that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, my mind's gone completely blank. I was reading some of the chat. What was the question again?
He's thinking the KFC
Brilliant.
again.
You get all the quality people here on the Block 9 podcast.
Madison have been in a minute, Harvey.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, Harvey, about the fact that you would have expected Burnley at home to be a lot more attacking and more ruthless with the quality of players that they've got, even though I believe they have had a bit of a shuffle round of players during the summer break.
Oh, definitely. That Colioso is definitely a player. He's definitely, you could see. Definitely. That Colioso is definitely
Andy,
a player.
We're getting massive feedback again on you, Andy. What's going on there?
Yeah, and that, you can pull out players from there. Cullen, Brownhill, they're all definitely players that have the quality for the Premier League. And I think we held our own.
Yeah, Oliver, I can see your request. We don't normally just let people in initially, but just let us know what side you're on. So I appreciate the follow as well. Oh, say again.
Ollie's Blackburn.
Fine. Let's.
Everyone on TikTok knows him as Jolly Ollie, and the more you get to his TikToks, you'll know why.
I'll let you in because we'll come on to the Blackburn game in a minute. So yeah, look, on the Sissoko side, Harvey, I think would you drop him again and bring Obafemi back in, even Oliver, or would you pit him on at the starting lineup against Blackburn on Saturday? Harvey, where's he gone? Right, Connor, do you want to answer that? Or Marcus? Everybody's just leaving us at the minute.
To be honest with you, I think I would. Because sometimes he seems to look better coming on, like a point to prove.
Yeah.
And, I would drop him, but I would also, if Isaka's fit, I would also drop Whittaker, put him on the bench.
Yeah, it's a big one, isn't it? Because he does work hard in the game, and obviously we were all sort of keen to see how Hadj would do replacing the Azaz situation, and would that help Whittaker a bit? And after one game against Luton at home, you can't judge it purely on that, but that's going to be the quandary, isn't it? Don't you think? If he's going to start with Hadj, so does he leave Whittaker on? I think he will.
The only disappointing thing is, if they was doubling up on Sissoko and doubling up on Whittaker, that should have left a lot of space for Al Hadj. I thought he had a poor game.
Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't in it, and I think because it was more of that defensive sort of lineup, it didn't really suit him anyway, did it? Because you didn't, like someone's mentioned, also Lennon, yes, Obafemi was, because he's on loan from Burnley, obviously then, he's not going to play against us, so that's why he wasn't available yesterday. And also just take a breather. Thank you for those that are just joining us recently as well. We got a good number of you in the chat. Jack, good evening, welcome. Lennon, who I just mentioned there. Morgan Sears, thanks for the follow as well. Susie Les, Oliver Collins, who's just in with us now. So thank you for those that are joining us. But yeah, for me, I think on Saturday, if Whittaker doesn't start really doing the business and getting past players and getting those shots in, I just think you've got to look at maybe subbing him. And like you say, I wouldn't start with Azaka over him, but if Azaka is fit to come on, he is an option he could consider on that side. Not ideal for him, but he is an option. Or if not, you're stuck with Whittaker being there. It's just frustrating. That shot would normally have gone in that he had on last night.
It's never been mentioned, but on Saturday, it's the battle between Rooney and Eustace.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
He can't be impressed because there's going to be a battle with Eustace. Must be not impressed Rooney got the job. Want a point to prove?
Possibly, but to be fair, is he going to be really that, sort of bothered? You go in there, and he will want to win the game first and foremost. But sorry, Katie Oliver, that ain't happening. But he'll want to win the game, and we'll bring you guys in a minute. He'll want to win the game for sure, first and foremost. And if he does it, and he's got one over in that way as well, then that's what it is. But at the end of the day, I just think Dane's just said that anyone else think Whittaker is lazy? His work rate off the ball is good, but his skill and quality has always been on the ball, Andy, hasn't it? That's the thing. That's what we knew first half of last season.
Yeah, he's a strange one, Whittaker, and I agree with Dane. I don't think he is lazy. I just think he needs that goal. Is he playing him in the right position? I don't know. But he seems to be caught out every time he plays now, and he seems to lose it a bit, doesn't he? He gets frustrated. I mean, he looked happy against.
Oh, hang on, Marcus, let Andy finish.
Yeah, he looked, sort of happy against Luton Town. Because I saw the sort of match day moments where, he's celebrating the goals and stuff. So I think he's a team player, and he's more of a team player than he was last season. He was scoring more goals last season, but he wasn't a team player, if you know what I mean. And now he's more of a team player. He's chasing back. So I just wish he'd get a couple of goals. That's all he needs to set his season on fire again.
Yeah, I mean, I can see what Dane's saying, because there's times when I've said he doesn't go in on a challenge properly. He tends to sort of step out of it. Almost like worried like he's going to get taken out and injured. There's all the talk about the Burnley situation. Sort of elephant in the room with Whittaker at the moment, and that interview. There's two ways you can take that. At the end of the day, what player doesn't want to play in a higher league? Does Whittaker have the ability to? Well, based on the first half of last season, you would say yes, he does. Based on the second half and the start of this season, my thoughts are his value is going down. So it's not going to be as high in Jan as we would love it to be. For those, Katie and Oliver that are in with us as well, for Argyle to have a player that is even touted in the multi-millions, is an unheard of thing. But yeah, I just think he's got to find that turn. And if with Rami Al-Haj getting more games, getting up to pace, it'll be interesting against Blackburn on Saturday. If that helps Whittaker in any way, great. If it doesn't, then you can't just keep giving him his spot. That's my opinion on it.
So what if Hatch start there? What if we start with Hatch there? Give him a chance and just give Morgan some bench time. And it might be just a kick up the backside he needs, because he's going to.
Is that a position for Hatch? Because I know he's scoring goals, but is that his typical position, Marcus? You've been watching a lot of him.
Maybe it's not, but we've got to sort of give him an opportunity. If you're scoring goals for the under 18s, then Whittaker's not scoring goals at the minute. Why don't we try him? There's nothing to lose, mate. Give Whittaker something to think about on the bench, maybe, and so that he's chomping at the bit to get back on the side and to prove that he can do it. We know he can do it. It's just confidence, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Marcus. Yeah, Marcus, what do you think on that, having seen it? I mean, Dane's saying you can't throw a young boy in from the start. There is elements to that, but there's no reason why you can't. But yeah, if his confidence is there, it could be immense to him, but it could also affect him mentally too. So, Marcus, what are you thinking on him?
Well, for the under 18s, it's that Finn who plays in exactly the same position as Whittaker does. Hash is a centre forward. Yeah. And I believe give him a chance, because you take a look at like Bellingham and that lot. They all started at 16, 17.
Rooney himself.
If you're good enough, you're old enough.
Yeah.
That is, and Rooney does want to play the kids. So I'm I'm just checking some of my notes. But to be fair with the Burnley game, it was frustrating. We had a couple of players, like I said, Ogbetter and Poulsen, who better slightly in the second half. They haven't played since the Wednesday game, so the fitness, apart from the odd cup, so the fitness is always going to be a problem coming into a side in a game like that. So not disappointed. The second half was a lot better. We're going to move on because we do have two guests in with us tonight, and I can see there's a few Blackburn fans, I think, as well joining in. There's a Jack who's evening Jack, who's definitely we're going to win 2-0. I'm assuming he's a Blackburn because I'm looking at his profile picture and shouting Shearer and Shearer. So good evening, welcome for joining us, and everybody else, please tap the screen and give as many likes as you can. If you wish to gift, that would be appreciated. Also, be the 12th man and share the live so we can get that out there to Blackburn fans, any other football fans, Argyle fans, etc. So it is time to bring in who pressed that? The Blackburn fans. So Katie, Oliver, good evening. Sorry, we're all for these sort of little sound effects. Before I bring you on, Katie, that's our one we tend to be known for. Is that the right thing to say? But anyway, Katie, Oliver, good evening. Katie, how are you feeling after that defeat and a big one last night? How was that game, and how's that made you feel about Saturday?
I think for me, I would also say, I don't know what Oliver thinks about this, but obviously looking at past results with Plymouth, I'd probably say they're one of our bogey teams. Like the last time that we actually ever won, looking at doing some research, as with Pride Pop was literally like 1992. Like you definitely are one of our bogey teams. I'm hoping it's a blip against Coventry. I feel like some players just didn't perform. Maybe they're just tired, overworked. I don't know. But the thing is, I'd be happy with a draw on Saturday. Even it just figures for me, the making effort. You know what I mean? Because obviously for us, as it would have been you for on Tuesday night, it's a big effort to come up to East Lancashire. It's a big effort for us to come down to there. So at least play for the shirt. Yeah,
I think Ollie, would you agree with that?
Yeah, look, I mean, no one expected us to have the start we did. 4 wins at home, 3 credible draws away from home. Expectation was we were going to fall away. So Mark's going, we're going to be in the mud, etc., etc. I mean, first of all, personally for me, I enjoy going Plymouth because I go for the weekend. So you'll see me up and down the Barbican tomorrow night anyway, all right? But I just, so you can't turn down a weekend in Plymouth, can you not?
Especially as the weather's looking good, supposedly.
I'll put my shorts on there just in case. But look, I agree with what Kate said there. You guys potentially are like sort of bogey team. My one fear coming into this game would be that, say, you boys haven't had the recent momentum in a way which you've had with Rooney, with picking up the victory in Sunderland. It's a decent, hard to say when you say it's a decent loss, but it's a credible loss to a degree away at Plymouth. And I tell you this, look, everyone's been looking at Rooney thinking he's going to be sort of the fall guy for Plymouth. And I think he appreciates the fact now that he might be getting talked about in the right way. From our point of view, it wasn't what we saw on Tuesday was a car crash in terms from Rovers. Now, to say they've been overworked and stuff, I probably slightly disagree with what Kate said on that. And what I mean by that is the fact that we've had as many games as any other team in that league. We have a squad with 2 players to every position. We've done some decent recruitment, and all the good things that we worked on early doors in the season, we did really well. It just didn't happen on Tuesday. Not only that, we just didn't offer anything. So for me, and exactly what Kay just said before, if we're going to go that way to Plymouth, the thing for me now would be a reaction, because what we showed the season already, barring getting the wins at home, we've come back from losing positions, which last season we fell terribly to do anything. I mean, I remember playing you lot at home when it was 1-1. Fair enough, we had sort of 10 men, but we should have been taken to the sword that day. We got taken to the sword last year when you beat us 3-0, even though, well, you could argue first half. Hedges puts that one away, and, we're probably off, but that's how football goes, unfortunately. So this will be a test for Rovers. This will be a very, very good test. And I think it's either going to be a 1-0 our side. I'll stick in the camp with Katie and say that I think a credible draw against a very improving team would not be the worst result going.
No, I think sort of looking at the games that you've had, since the start. So you played Derby at home, won that 4-2, a lot of goals in that game. Then another game against Norwich where you drew 2-2, more goals again. Sort of Oxford. sort of at home where you beat them, and obviously they've been superb start of this season. You beat them 2-1. Obviously you drew against Burnley at Turf Moor, so you did well there. Again, I mean, it's a repeat pattern, scoring a lot of goals as well as conceding, but in that one you beat City 3-0 without conceding. Preston was your 0-0 draw. I mean, what happened? No goals in that game. And then obviously QPR, which you beat 2-0, and then you hit your big defeat last night. So, and it's yeah, I think for me, for Blackburn on Saturday, and Wild Rover has joined in, so I shall bring him in a minute. We'll make room to get him in. But yeah, for me, the confidence is with us. I think the ascendancy is with us. We're not leaking goals if you park the first game. One of the big sort of players, actually, which I didn't mention, who I have a sound effect for, that was missing yesterday, is because our captain never gives up, never lets us down. And when he gets a knocking injury, there's not much you can do. But he is hopefully, fingers crossed, he's going to be back for Saturday, which could be big plus. Mumba probably will start, I feel, again, so we'll have the wing backs operating as they do. I'm going to say, because I never say we'll lose, but I think we will. I'm going to go 2-0. I want this game where we don't concede, but against a team that's scored lots of goals, that could be a challenge, and that's how I'm looking. Who do you feel? Who would you say we've got to look out for in your squad on Saturday?
Hold up, Mike.
Yeah.
I don't want to give anything away, but I would say, at the moment we've got Ohashi, as in terms of, we play a front three at the top. Ohashi, we've got Todd Cantwell, who had a decent 45 minutes against QPR recently, barring it was against 10 men. He was a game changer. But when he doesn't get into the game, he becomes frustrated. And I would say that if that happens and Rooney doubles up on him on Saturday and bullies the boy around and he allows him to get bullied, then it's going to be a difficult day. Dolan was very disappointing on Wednesday. But I would go along and say, Ohashi, the boy's just got bags and bags of energy. He hustles the back line really well. He's always hounding. He's always up the top there. He's always looking. He's always switching. He's a very energetic player. And for some reason, when you got players like from Japanese players or South Korean, they've just got that, elements of the extra egg, the extra 10 yards. And he's still rolling off a season, playing mid-season in Japan or wherever he was. So you do feel at some point he may burn out. But at the moment, he could be the changer. He's the one that's filling in the goals for Sammy Simonics. However, we've already had 11 goal scorers this season, so it's fair to say when people start giving these narratives that when Sammy goes, we're going to fall off, everyone's stepping up to the plate. So yet again, I think if we come away with a win this week, this will be a testament for Eustace and how Rovers will be for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think there's definitely there's that sort of comeback after some good results. You're getting that defeat. It's a Tuesday night, it's, the issue we have is obviously our travel, which always affects us because it's always by coach. But, we'll be fresher coming down, not having to travel down, being here. So I think, Yuki Osashi, 4 goals so far. But there's a lot of, you got goals from Travis, from Wellman in looking at your top scorers at the moment. But yeah, Harvey, as a fan that travels to most away games as well, what are you thinking on the game on Saturday?
I don't really know, to be honest, because I feel like we're at a point in the season where I don't think teams can really predict how we're going to play, and I mean that in the terms of, you look at the first game of the season where we got played off the park to Tuesday night, where at times we was dominating at Turf Moor, against Burnley at their home ground. So I'd personally be happy with a draw. I think Blackburn, are a team that's no.
How dare you?
They've got a huge amount of history compared to Argyle, and I do see us, getting a point, moving on in after the international break to a much easier run and hitting the ground running from there.
Yeah, no, fair enough then. So a draw from Harvey. Connor, what are you sort of predicting for that game?
I don't know. Plymouth are a place to go. And I think Andy already knows where I'm going.
So
12-2 win to the Argyle boys.
you've been on those shandies too much. That's your problem, Connor. Marcus, and give us your thoughts on what you think on the game on Saturday and what you'd like to see.
I would like to see a goal from Whittaker because I think that he needs it. I would go for 3-1 for us. I just can't see us not conceding again.
Yeah.
We always seem to give a goal away.
Yeah, at least it's only the odd goal, not some of the goals that Blackburn opposition have been leaking. But as I've said, goals have been going in against them as well. So if we can, it's all about if we can be clinical a bit more like we were against Luton, then early on it could close the game out, or it could make it, to be fair, Katie and Oliver, another high scoring game. So I want to just make room, so bear with me a second as I just change, because Wild Rover, although he is undoubtedly probably recovering quite heavily, Lewis, Katie, I'm sure, I'd like to think that yourself and Oliver are aware of what Lewis is doing.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to send him the invite. So Lewis, if you are there and ready, I'm just trying to find you. I can't
2 seconds left on the poll, guys. Make sure you look at that poll before it closes.
So, and he's always putting the polls in there. So there he is. Lewis, we feel honoured to have you on. What you're doing out there is just incredible. How are you feeling tonight? Because I know you've not long got to Bridgewater, have you?
No, can you hear me okay? I've not done one of these before.
No, if you could bring your phone a little bit closer, if that's possible, would help, because you are faint.
Yeah, can you hear me better now?
Little bit. Mate. We can just make you out. Far away, mate.
Okay, yeah, I mean, today's been a tough day. I was going pretty well, but I don't know if you probably won't have seen, but around Bristol, the M5 was shut, so traffic's been horrific. So yeah, 8 hours on the bike today.
It's just, I mean, and like, just tell us, how many miles have you done so far this season?
Oh, this season total. Good question. So Norwich was 260 miles.
Wow.
And then, fortunately, I had Burnley and Preston, which is only, they're sort of 10 miles apiece, so that was okay. And then this week, what have I done so far? So this week I've had Coventry Tuesday night. So I set off from Ewood Park to get to Coventry, which was 140 miles.
Wow.
Then watched the game, drove back home, and then 7 o'clock in the morning I was down at Ewood Park ready to go again to set off to Plymouth. So I'm currently 225 miles into my trip to Plymouth.
To be fair, you don't travel very far, do you? I mean, Plymouth's not very far, really, is it? Come on.
It's not far.
Welcome in.
It's on the doorstep.
I just endorse what Crazy Pilgrim's saying. Fantastic effort, mate, and I hope you raise a lot of money for charity. Guys, and sponsor this guy. Have you got a GoFundMe page?
Yeah, so I was just gonna say, give us the background to why you're doing what you're doing, because obviously you're not just doing it for the sake of it. So there's a really good cause behind this. So yeah, Lewis, give us the details of what this is for.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I've just had a message saying 670 miles, so someone's listening, and they've told me 670 so far. So.
There's a round of applause for you there.
Thank you. So yeah, so one of my friends passed away at the age of 27 of cancer. It all happened very quickly, and in his name, his parents set up a charity called Smiley Josh Riley.
Yeah.
And on the back of that, basically, their main aim is to build lodges for young families or young people that are going through cancer treatment, just to offer them that sort of respite, holiday. For some people, it'll be the last holiday as well that they go on. So we want to sort of create the best kind of facility we can for people going through such a traumatic time. And my main aim really is to raise the sort of final funds to get that lodge built in the Lake District.
Yeah, no, I mean, and anybody, and there's many of us, I'm sure there's possibly a few in here, myself, with my dad, who had bowel cancer, and luckily, even at an old 70-odd years young, as he was at the time, it's a massive thing, and and he's luckily come out of the back end of it, all clear, which is great. But yeah, it's just such a horrible illness, and I think Harvey, I think you should maybe use the bike a bit more when you go away rather than drive. What do you reckon to that? It's incredible, isn't it, what Lewis is doing, Harvey, isn't it?
Oh, 100%, 100%. I think cancer is one of them things which touches. I think it touches everyone in a way of either yourself, a family, or a friend and stuff. I've recently had family earlier this year, unfortunately, die of cancer. So I massive respect to you, mate, for what you're doing.
Yeah. So, so Lewis, give us because if I shout it out, TikTok does all sorts of weird things. So do you want to give the details of where people can go to then donate? So the target is 25,000. You're currently on 3,449 as of me looking at that screen now. But yeah, go on, tell people how they can go and donate.
Yeah, so if they have a look at, obviously, GoFundMe, not GoFundMe, Just Giving page, sorry. You're catching me at quite a raw stage. I'm still in the cycle and stuff.
No, we appreciate you coming on.
You're not moaning, are you, Lewis?
Sorry?
You're not moaning, are you?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah,
That's not in my nature. Not in my nature. So yeah, Just Giving page, Wild Rover Lewis. But we post the link regularly on all the socials anyway, if anyone wants to follow.
Yeah, so definitely give him, Lewis, a follow. He supported. Who is it that supports you? I know your brother-in-law was telling me tonight that he sat comfortably at home in Blackburn while he was messaging me, letting me know how you do. But who is actually looking after you while you are going to these away games?
Listen, I do the easy things. I just ride a bike, but I've got my brother-in-law that runs my TikTok for me because I wouldn't know what TikTok is if it hit me in the face.
You do now, look, because you're on your first live, so there you go.
Yeah, that's true. And then my partner, Caitlin, and my baby, Faith, they sort of follow me up and down the country. They've just arrived, actually, which is great. I mean, the traffic's been horrific today, so she's had a harder task than me today. But Caitlin does all the Facebooks and Instagrams and everything else. So I'm very lucky. I'm very fortunate to have this support network around me.
Mate, your top credit to your club. Absolutely top credit to your club and to your friend and your family. I mean, it just puts perspective to football, doesn't it? Or football in perspective, even. Try saying that with a map for the Gobstoppers. The West Brom fan who died, and now you're sort of following your friend and doing stuff for him. Big respect to you, man. And guys, please sponsor it. Please get along and go to his page and just give. Yeah,
I can see people which you probably won't be used to, Lewis. Is there's people that have gifted to you directly from within this live, which will go into your brother-in-law will hopefully sort that out for you, but that will go into your TikTok balance, as it's called. But yeah, I mean, Katie, just to come to you as a Rovers fan, and obviously you said you're well aware as Ollie is of what Lewis is doing. So what do you think from your side? It's great. I mean, this is what football's about, isn't it? Community supporting each other. It's great to be a football fan, isn't it?
100%. I think Blackburn Rovers is very much a fan of the community club, and I think it's amazing what he does. You know what I mean? Genuinely, and it's for an amazing cause. And I really do hope that every single Rovers comes behind him. Donate, share. If you can't donate, share, and just let's get the whole aim done. You know what I mean? Completed.
Yeah, it's just a monumental task. And Oliver, yourself?
I mean, first and foremost, Lewis, this is the first time we're probably talking over a live, mate, because I've already done several videos on you, but that's because...
Yeah, and thank you for that. Thank you.
No, you're welcome, mate. And that's because... True story, actually, a couple of weeks ago, I found this on an Insta, and Lewis was just starting up his TikTok, and I just thought, this is amazing. I can appreciate what he must be going through, and in my head, I thought, I can't even cycle to Preston. So there was a lot, he was asking me to do a lot.
I can't even cycle up the road, come on.
I know. I get a hamstring just going into McDonald's, you know what I mean? So, but look, I mean, I've watched what Lewis did, and if you can see the emotion on his face, and people might look at him and think, how getting 25,000? And to any Rovers fans out there, this lad sits in the Blackburn end, his partner goes around with a bucket. If you haven't got any money, which most people haven't nowadays, I'm sure there's a QR code. So don't be so tight-fisted. Get your hands in your pockets, right? It's a great cause. If everybody at the stadium or even on match days puts £1 in or something like that, this boy's not only going to hit his target, he's going to absolutely smash his target as well. And do you know what? If only the players had the same sort of attitude on Tuesday, because if he cycled for his mates to raise money for charity, they might have put a performance in. So hopefully, based on what you're doing, Lewis, I swear to God, they better turn up Saturday. All right?
I mean, yeah, that Coventry game was rough. I'll be honest. Watching that in the rain, that was rough.
I felt like messaging Tyrese Dolan and say, if you think you've had a bad game, sunshine, on your little 5-star coach going down the bloody M6, this guy just gone up there for 3 days and he's put the effort in. So look, I think you're a great example, mate, of what this football club, our football club's about. We've been so distant in recent years because of the ownership model, but you're a true gent, and I think you'll not only hit the record, mate, or hit your total, you'll smash it, pal.
Yep.
Yeah. No, brilliant, Oliver. And look, I've tried to sort of use what contacts I do have. I said to your brother-in-law earlier, I've got someone that I know that has fired off an email to Andrew Parkinson, who's our CEO. Can't promise anything, but, you know, if we can just do anything, you know, and equally Blackburn fans out there, you know, Argyle fans, you know, share the message, go and follow at Wild Rover on TikTok and share it around. You know, there's people, if you haven't yourself, like we've said, that have been affected by cancer, and the Smiley Riley, you know, fundraising for what Lewis is doing. As I said, you know, sort of, I enjoy my walks to work, and I've got a big hill to go up. It's only a 30-minute walk, but when I don't drive it, but I look at it and go, yeah, my bike can stay well in the shed, you know. But it's and we've all experienced that saddle pain. So I dread to think, unless you're used to it now, Lewis, but that's some miles. That's got to hurt.
I mean, yeah, I thought I was used to it, but there was a point today. It was like I was sat on glass. To be honest with you, it wasn't good.
I get some chili off that, mate.
Yeah, we need to give you our famous. Hey, we like to have a bit of fun on this TikTok live, you know.
I must be honest, Lewis. I feel embarrassed now because here's me talking about a 2-day drinking session around the Barbican in Plymouth, and you're cycling up there. And I feel terrible. I'll be there with like a kebab at 4 a.m. thinking I've done some effort here today as well.
A Jasperizer at 4 a.m.
You know what, I don't really drink, but when I get to Plymouth, I'll be having a beer, I think.
Listen, mate. Listen, you get yourself in the away end, and I'll be there for you. I promise you, mate. There's a fair few people I've been talking to who want to meet you as well, mate. You know, get some photos, share it with people, mate. I'll get that bucket, and I'll start taking it around the way end and getting all these youngins to start tipping out their pockets, mate. Okay? We'll make sure we get some backing for you.
Yeah, listen to that. Absolutely spot on. And I think, so just on that, Lewis, when are you expected to arrive, and what's your general plan? Obviously, we've got a fan zone at the club. Andy, the Grumpy Royal here, you know, they've got a social club in the Hyde Park, which is a 10-15 minute walk, not like after a cycle you want to do that, but where they do welcome and have an area for away fans. You know, so yeah, what is your plans when you arrive on Saturday?
Yes, I typically get there about an hour before kick-off. Coventry was a little bit different, just logistically, but I had to hang around for the rest of the day. But yeah, so I'll be there an hour before kick-off. We've not actually picked a point yet, but I normally cycle to the away end. But I tend to have a little ride around the stadium anyway, just to, obviously I'm seeing lots of new places. So yeah, I'm pretty open. I mean, do you have a suggestion on where I should go?
No, obviously, I mean, well, again, if you're getting there an hour before, you're cutting it quite tight anyway, aren't you? So you almost want to get off your saddle, get your bike secured with your family, and then, you know, as Oliver says, get in that away end, because, you know, there's clearly a lot of people that want to meet you. I think it would be fair to say on this Saturday, I'm actually, a friend of mine has got well, it's not a box, we don't do boxes as such, but it's a table in the corporate side. So I'm sat over not the block 9, the opposite side to where I sit in the block 9 in the grandstand. So yeah, thumbs down. So, well, you know, it's kind gestures from friends, and it's the same guy that's actually fired the email off. So, but yeah, it'll be good to try and meet. So what I'll do is if it's not before the game, it could be embarrassing for either of us if it's after the game, depending on the result. But what I'll do is I'll try and just stay in touch with you on TikTok, and, you know, it will be absolute pleasure. And I'm sure Andy, if he can meet you as you get to there as well, because I'll be in the ground very early. But if Andy, the block 9 section, you just go around the side of the stadium to get to the away end, and I'm sure Andy and anyone else on here will also try and bump into you and say hi. Would that be fair, Andy?
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, 100%. I look forward to meeting you, mate. And as I said, you're doing a fantastic job for your mate, and it's a great testament to him and to Blackburn Rovers to have fans like you to do that, mate. So well done.
Yeah,
Thank you. I mean, I'll be putting a video out today. There's just today I had some rough moments for the first sort of 3 hours, and genuinely, Josh's mum sent me a message, and there wasn't much in the message, but it just said, just think of all the amazing things you're doing for these young families that are going to need this respite. And honestly, from that moment, there was no suffering at all from me, because I've got nothing to suffer. I've got nothing to suffer for.
And I know, Lewis, you did watching one of your videos earlier. It was a tough sort of start to the day, and which is why we'll let you go and get back to your family and all that stuff and rest those legs and get some food inside you. But it was great to the person who tagged me originally in a post that you did to get in touch with you and invite you on. We're just a small podcast that's growing, but we are all about fans from other clubs as well. We'll always talk, obviously, predominantly Argyle, but it's seeing those sort of things in what little community that we have that's growing, where we can get you on and help drive the message. Fantastic. If I can, and I'll do whatever we can to sort of see if the club can even, if not, my ultimate ideal with them would be to interview you at half time, but if we can get something put up on the screen, even we've got a big screen TV right by the away end, anything that we can do just to get the message out there, because I'm sure there'll be a lot of Argyle fans that would like to join in as well. And like Oliver said, a few buckets, few sort of collections, get to meet loads of people. Hopefully it'll be fantastic and worth it, as it absolutely will be. So you can stay in, Lewis, but you can go. Happy for you to do whatever, but I do want a score prediction from you. So
hang on, before we start, Mike. Let's get this guy to 1K, please. Come on, we're 936. Let's get him to 1K. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good spot, Andy. Yeah, well done. So that's the gift.
Thank you for the 936. I don't know what that means. Someone will tell me. Wow.
You've breached 1,000 now by quite a bit. You'll see it in your TikTok balance. Like I said, get your brother-in-law, if he's not watching, he may well be on his other account, to go in and get that out there. I don't know.
Thank you so much.
The value of it. But yeah, so your score prediction, what do you think?
Probably wouldn't have.
Well, I predicted 2-0 to Blackburn against Coventry when some policemen asked me outside the stadium, and obviously I got that wrong. Do you know what? We've started really well, and knowing Blackburn the way I do, and having had a season ticket for sort of 30 years, being 32 now, maybe 29 years I've had it. Blackburn will tail off a bit now, I think. I think we'll have sort of 3 or 4 games where it just won't go very well. But we never tend to do well. I'll say probably, I'm going to say 2-2.
Yeah, fair enough. So that's a couple then that are given draws. So yeah, look, you can stay on by all means, Lewis, but I think go and get those legs rested up for that journey tomorrow, and have some time with the family. But everybody, a round of applause, please, for Lewis.
Safe journey down, Lewis, mate, and go easy, and hope to see you on the ground, mate.
On, guys. I'm going to go and grab some food because I've only eaten gels all day. So
you're welcome. Go for it. Take care.
He's one of our own. All right, he's one of our bloody own. All right, keep his ours. Right.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
Cheers, buddy.
Take care.
Brilliant, and it's great to be able to add something like that to the show, and get that message out. Can I just point out
as well, like, I'm sorry to interrupt, Ryan, I'm so glad the boy is getting the coverage he deserves, because I mean, I'm not being Katie will say this could be, we posted this, but when something like this comes out first, you don't think it's got legs. And I think the boy was probably worried that it wasn't get the traction. We've seen so many teams before. We've seen that lad from Everton who's gone to every away game and he's underpants, something like that. I can't remember what it was. There's so many good things in football. There's so many good things in football that do happen. And do you know what? I get it. Money's getting tighter and everything's getting more expensive, etc., etc. This guy's just trying to weigh just £25,000. You could turn up to probably Old Trafford and get a quid off everybody and you would have smashed it. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're not asking a lot from people. It's for a great cause. It's for his mate. Not many people would get up and go and do something for their pal. You know what I mean?
And it's not equally just for his mate. It's for those people that will be able to use that large, go in and spend
absolutely.
Last moments. What of the club? I'm not wanting to call them out, but to get and raise the profile and awareness. But what have the club at Blackburn themselves done?
I mean, from what I do gather, Lewis does set off from Ewood Park, and he does have people from the club that do send him off. we'd probably argue it would be so easy if the club just went, "Oh, right, we'll send you £25,000. Then again, we can't even get a transfer budget at times, so I'm not expecting much from our.
No, but I'm not thinking money, Oliver. But in terms of publicity, are they doing?
Are they,
Yeah,
look, they
so
do
I know
sharing.
that I know that they've done a post on their website.
Yeah.
I know that other clubs are getting involved. I know that Preston got involved, Ollie, because they posted a picture. But I think Blackburn probably just need to post it, maybe remind people, rather than just doing one post on the website, do something every week. I know it might come, or just change the words up rather than it becoming competitive, but more fans just need to know about it, especially thinking, also in our local area.
I mean, moments.
Go on, Ollie.
I mean, moments like this. I mean, I remember doing I remember putting my post out last week, and I was just obviously off the win against Bristol City. Well, I can't remember what it was actually now, to be fair, coming back to it. But yeah, that was against QPR. And obviously, I'm glad that so many people tagged it. Sometimes these sort of videos don't reach a certain place. I don't know how to use hashtags at times. Some people get, the views and stuff. So I'm so glad. And it doesn't matter if it's people like yourself, but you guys have been incredibly kind tonight, by the way. I've actually really enjoyed doing this.
Yeah,
so thank you so much. And you've always been known, even prior to me coming to Plymouth, you've always been known as a well-regarded family sort of club. You don't get any sort of hostility or anything like that. Plymouth is a belting night out. That's why I'm going back anyway. But I think it's clubs like yourself, if we can do more of these. So the next club that we play, which will be, I think it's Swansea. Is it Katie after this? I'm not too sure.
I think it is, yeah. It's home game, Swansea.
Yeah, it's home game. But every single away game, a podcast out there to the away game needs to know about this. Even Burnley fans have contributed towards this because there's no boundaries or anything when it comes to football. It's not about heated rivalry and wishing somebody. This guy's doing some incredible stuff. So let's just all remember that and keep giving.
Right. So I think what we're doing for time. So we're just over the hour, which is not too bad. So yeah, and absolutely. So look, we're going to sort of do a little bit of our close out now, folks, as we come in. So I'm just going to go around the table. But Cammy, appreciate you coming in and giving some banter. It's been a good little laugh to end on with. But yeah, we shall. Andy, I'm going to go to you in order as I look at it on my screen. So final thoughts and predictions for Saturday, mate.
I think we're going to see a different Argyle side Saturday. I think those two changes that they made on Tuesday will be taken out of the side and replaced by the players that should have been there. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Argyle win with I'm going to goals from who's going to score. I'm going to say Whittaker is going to score one, and I reckon that Al Haj will get the other one. There you go.
You'll please Marcus there. And Connor, what are you thinking, mate?
I think Argyle's going to win 12-1. Grimshaw hat-trick. Another hat-trick from Wayne Rooney. And most probably Stephen Schumacher and one of those assists.
Brilliant. Absolutely.
I reckon Rooney could actually get an hat-trick.
Yeah, he probably could get in our team, yeah, actually.
And Susan Boyle's debut.
And Marcus, what are you thinking, mate?
I think Whittaker will score. I'm going for 3-1. I think Hardy will score. And I hope to see a first goal from someone like Souks.
Oh, like a nice rocket like he did, which obviously led to Edwards getting the rebound.
He's obviously got a good kick on him, so I think he should try they sort of shots more and more.
Yeah, no, I must admit, since he did that shot against Sunderland, we haven't seen him take a shot outside the box, to be fair, because he's been defending solidly and superbly with Gibson at the back. So yeah, just seeing Jack FC in the chat, who's been with us most of the night as well. 5-1 Blackburn. He's saying Yuki, Cantwell, Hyam, Costello, and Travis. So that's his prediction. Dane's going 3-1. Mumba, Hardy as well, and Obafemi.
Oh,
I'd like
please,
to see
Obafemi. Please. Hey. Obafemi, you've got one job, brother. Please. God, please score past these bastards. Oh, my God.
I tell you what, it's one of those where it'll either work for us, this loan, or it will just be Obafemi, typical Obafemi.
Oh, no, you don't. If Whittaker and Obafemi score past these lot, we're going to have a right good day. Come on, please. Oh, you know, I love it. I love how the Femi can just come on and nick one in 88th minute and just celebrate in front. Oh, please.
Cammy will drive all the way down to Plymouth Barbican just to bump into Oliver and just to rub it in.
No, I won't waste my time doing that, but I'd have a great time. If we beat Preston and now the Femi scores past these lot to deny him a win, real weekend.
There we go. Well, look, there we go. So let's see what happens. So, look, folks, Katie, do you want to give your final thoughts then before we head off for the evening?
This is really hard, right? Because literally my head is probably saying I'm going to say a 3-0 loss, genuinely. Like, I feel like it's too bogey team. I feel like we probably are dipping off a little bit. But then I think, you've got to back your team, isn't it? So I'm going to say 2-1 to us. And I think it'll be a last-minute Travis.
Katie, it's not a bogey team. You're just crap. That's why you can't beat them.
Yeah, it is a bogey team, because it's the last time we won at their ground, 1992,
because they've only been around bopping up the divisions, haven't they? They've been in League Two for so many years. You're not going to play them here.
No, it's
attention. We are ending the show. Look, you two lovebirds can go off and get into another live and carry on your banter. But look, Katie, thanks for coming on. Cammy, thanks for coming on. Oliver as well. Lewis, who joined us, the Wild Rover. Please go and look at that Just Giving page /Wild Rover Lewis, and where you can, please donate. Hopefully, we might get a message through to the club and something can be done to publicise that at Home Park on Saturday. But other than that, look, thank you everybody for coming on. We will be back on Sunday at 7:45 to do the post-match. So Katie, come and join us again. Cammy, you're more than welcome. Certainly if the Femi scores.
Well, mate, don't you? All right.
So look, take it easy, guys, and we'll catch you later.
Thank you, guys.
You'll be our guy.
Cheers, and bye.
Cheerio.